Hey everyone, let's talk about permits today. So my house on 65 Washington Street that I've been renovating, that's the fire damaged house if you remember, the one Conrad was in, is supposed to sell this week. But I made a mistake. I forgot to check if there's any open permits. All my permits are closed. So I was like, great, good to go. But those permits from 2018, 2019, and 2013. 18 and 19 for the deck and the siding, and 13 for sort of entire kitchen remodel. So I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do with these things? Like, I can't get permits 5 years ago closed out. So I went down to the building inspector, pleaded nicely with him, and he agreed to come down to my property and check out the siding and the deck and see if it's done right. He took a look at it, no problems with those, we get them signed off. Wow, the woods, ish. So 2013 permit's still open. That's for a complete kitchen gut remodel. We're talking new wiring, new plumbing, new insulation, everything. And they won't touch it because they don't know what's behind the walls, so how are they gonna sign off on it? So what do? Let's throw a Hail Mary pass. I reached out to the old owner that actually did this and said, hey, would you happen to have the permit? I know this is a weird thing to ask, but are you better with paperwork than I am? You know what? He had the permit. In fact, he scanned it over to me and sent it to me. The permit had the rough-ins signed off on already, which means everything behind the wall is considered good. So I'm like, yes, all I gotta do is get them out there, check it out, just up ahead of the wall and say, closed permit, cool, we're good. Well, it doesn't work quite like that, it seems. Luckily, I redid the entire electrical in the kitchen and the entire plumbing in the kitchen because of the fire damage. So the electrical inspector said, hey, I'm not signing that, but it's null and void because you already redid it all. The plumbing inspector said, hey, I'm not signing that, but it's null and void because you redid it all. So I'm like, cool, that means the building inspector can sign off on it. Well, he can't. He said, look, I can't sign off on anything on this permit because of the fact that most things were redone, so I don't know what that permit was, so I can't take liability for it. So I'm like, all right, I need this closed to sell this house, like what do we do? So right now, I got the electrical inspector sending in emails, already done it actually, to the building inspector to say, hey, there's null and void, like, it's all been redone. I'm not signing off on something that's been redone. I got the plumbing inspector doing it the same thing. And if that happens, the building inspector will then send me communication saying that the original permit from 2013 is null and void, but they won't close it or sign off on it because that work is no longer there. Whew. So we're gonna hope this works because the buyer on this one being very particular and saying, I want everything closed. I need it closed in their system for me to buy this property. But in my mind, null and void is closed. Keep your fingers crossed. I'm going back down there tomorrow. In fact, actually, when this comes out, I should have already gone back down there. And you'll probably see on Facebook how this ended up. Something to learn, right? One, know what's going on in this house. I knew most things that issue with this house, but I didn't know about the open permits. I should have known about that. Now, let me be clear, this would not have changed my mind as to buying this house because it is going to be a profitable project. It is going to sell. I just don't know if this buyer is going to be, let's just say dumb, and not buy it because technicalities, even though it's a voided permit. The second thing is, if you do know about these things, get ahead of them. So if I knew about this 2013 permit, like I should have, we'll stress that, I would have talked to the inspectors when we did it to figure out how to void the permit so I'm not dealing with this at the last minute. Because this is supposed to close tomorrow and I am still running around like a maniac. Been at the building inspector's office for 3 days straight now. I made great friends with him, he's a good guy, to make sure that this thing closes rather than setting up my business so everything goes smoother and flows better within the process. I hope this helped you out to show you some sort of weirdness that can happen with the permits. Pull your permits, do things the right way, and figure out what permits are on your property before you try to close the next day. See y'all later.